You think being a good man will get you respect? That playing by the rules, being nice, and never rocking the boat will earn you what you deserve in life? It won't. Genghis Khan understood something about human nature that most men today refuse to accept. He built the largest contiguous empire in human history, not through kindness, but through a brutal understanding of reality. And before you click away thinking this is just another toxic masculinity rant, stay with me, because what I am about to share will fundamentally change how you see yourself and the world around you. If you're ready for some uncomfortable truths that might actually change your life, hit that subscribe button right now, because we don't do surface level content here. We go deep. Let me tell you about a man you probably think you know. Genghis Khan, born Temujin in 1162, abandoned by his tribe, left to starve with his family after his father was poisoned. This 9-year-old boy had every excuse to give up, to be a victim, to accept his fate as the forgotten son of a dead chieftain. Instead, he killed his own half-brother over a fish and some birds. Brutal. Absolutely. But here's what nobody tells you about that moment. That killing wasn't about food. It was about respect. It was about establishing that he would not be walked over, not even by family. And this is the first harsh truth. Genghis Khan knew that you need to understand. Good men who lack strength are not respected. They are used. Think about your own life right now. How many times have you been the nice guy at work? The one who stays late, covers for others, never complains. And what did it get you? Did you get the promotion? Or did it go to someone more aggressive? Someone less qualified but more willing to advocate for themselves? Be honest with yourself. Genghis Khan grew up watching weak men make excuses. He watched his own family nearly starve because they were too honorable to fight back against the tribe that abandoned them. He learned early that the universe doesn't reward your intentions. It rewards your actions and your strength. But here's where most people misunderstand this completely. They think this means you should be an aggressive jerk. That's not it at all. Genghis Khan wasn't just a brute. He was strategic, disciplined, and absolutely ruthless when necessary. He promoted based on merit, not bloodline. He protected those loyal to him fiercely. He created laws that protected women and children in his empire. But, and this is critical, he never confused kindness with weakness. The second harsh truth is this. Loyalty without boundaries makes you a doormat, not a good person. Genghis Khan valued loyalty above almost everything, but his loyalty was earned and conditional. When the Taisha tribe enslaved him as a teenager, locking him in a wooden collar, he didn't forgive and forget when he escaped. He remembered years later, when he had power, he dealt with them accordingly. He also rewarded those who showed him loyalty in his darkest moments. A man named Jelm helped him when he was nobody. Decades later, Jelm was one of his most trusted generals. What's the lesson here? Stop giving your loyalty freely to people and organizations that see you as disposable. Your company will replace you within 2 weeks if you died tomorrow. That friend who only calls when they need something isn't your friend. That partner who takes you for granted while you bend over backwards, they don't value you. They use you. Being a good man doesn't mean being available to everyone. It means being selective about who deserves your time, energy, and loyalty. Genghis Khan had a smaller circle of trusted advisors than he had fingers. Everyone else had to prove themselves constantly. Now here's the third truth. And this one is going to sting. Your comfort is your cage. Genghis Khan spent his entire life in discomfort. He slept on the ground with his men. He ate the same food. He endured the same brutal Mongolian winters. Even as emperor of half the known world, he never lived in luxury the way his enemies did. Why? Because he understood that comfort makes you soft. And soft men lose everything. Look at your life right now. You're probably more comfortable than 99% of humans who ever lived. You have heating, air conditioning, food delivered to your door, entertainment at your fingertips. And yet, are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Or do you feel stuck, anxious, and vaguely disappointed with yourself? That's because humans aren't designed for constant comfort. We're designed for challenge, for growth, for overcoming. Every time you choose the comfortable option, the easy path, the safe choice, you're weakening yourself. You're becoming the type of man that Genghis Khan would have conquered without a second thought. The men who followed Genghis Khan into battle faced death regularly. They lived hard lives, but they also felt alive in a way that most modern men never will. They had purpose, brotherhood, and the satisfaction of testing themselves against real challenges. I'm not saying you need to go to war, but what are you doing that's actually hard? What are you pursuing that scares you? If the answer is nothing, then you're not living, you're just existing. Fourth truth. Good men without a mission become bitter men. Genghis Khan had clarity of purpose from a young age. Unite the Mongol tribes, protect his family, build something that would last. Everything he did aligned with this mission. He didn't waste time on distractions. He didn't question his purpose every morning. He knew what he was building and why. Most modern men have no mission. They drift through life reacting to whatever comes their way. They take jobs they do care about, to buy things they do need to impress people they do like. Then they wonder why they feel empty. Here's the reality check you need. Nobody is coming to give you a mission. No one is going to hand you purpose. You have to define it for yourself and then pursue it relentlessly. What are you building? What would you sacrifice for? If you died tomorrow, what would you leave behind that mattered? Genghis Khan left an empire, a legal code, and genetics that persist in 16 million people today. What's your legacy going to be? A decent credit score and a paid-off mortgage. Fifth truth, and this is the most important one. The world respects strength, not virtue. This is the lie you've been sold your entire life. Be good, work hard, be honest, and you'll be rewarded. It's not true. The world respects power. The world respects competence. The world respects results. Genghis Khan wasn't loved by his enemies. He was feared, and that fear created respect, which created stability. His empire had some of the lowest crime rates in history because the consequences were severe and certain. Trade flourished under Mongol rule because merchants knew they'd be protected. Religious tolerance existed because Genghis Khan didn't care what god you worshipped as long as you obeyed his laws. Strength created order. Strength created peace. Not niceness. Not good intentions. Now I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds like justification for being a terrible person. That's not what I'm saying. Listen carefully. Being strong doesn't mean being cruel. It means being capable. It means developing yourself into someone who cannot be ignored or dismissed. It means building skills, knowledge, physical capability, financial resources, and mental fortitude. It means becoming dangerous in the best possible way. Dangerous to those who would harm you or yours, but protective and valuable to those you care about. Genghis Khan was absolutely brutal to his enemies. But to his people, he was protective, fair, and generous. He created the first international postal system. He promoted religious freedom. He elevated people based on ability, not birth. Women in his empire had more rights than women in most of the so-called civilized world at that time. The difference is that he operated from a position of strength, not weakness. And that's what allowed him to be genuinely good to those who deserved it. So what does this mean for you? Practically, in your life right now. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop making yourself smaller to make others comfortable. Stop giving away your time and energy to people who don't value it. Stop choosing comfort over growth. Stop waiting for permission to pursue what you actually want. Start building yourself into someone formidable. Hit the gym not for aesthetics, but for functional strength. Learn skills that make you valuable and harder to replace. Develop your mind through reading, learning, challenging yourself intellectually. Build financial resources so you have options and aren't dependent on anyone's approval. Create boundaries and enforce them without guilt. Be selective about who gets access to you. Genghis Khan didn't waste time on people who couldn't help him achieve his mission. Neither should you. That doesn't mean being a user. It means being strategic about where you invest your limited time and energy. Find your mission. What are you actually building? Not what you think you should be building. Not what your parents want or society expects. What do you, in your core, want to create or achieve before you die? Once you know that, every decision becomes simpler. Does this move me toward my mission or away from it? And finally, understand that being a good man in the way Genghis Khan would respect means being a strong man who chooses to use that strength wisely. It means being capable of harm, but choosing to protect instead. It means being able to dominate, but choosing to build instead. It means having options and choosing the honorable path, not because you have to, but because you're strong enough to. The weak man has no choice but to be good. He can't afford to be otherwise. The strong man chooses goodness from a position of power. That's the difference. That's what makes it meaningful. Genghis Khan knew that the universe is fundamentally indifferent to your suffering. Nature doesn't care. The market doesn't care. Your enemies certainly don't care. The only thing that matters is whether you are strong enough to create the life you want and protect what matters to you. This isn't about being heartless. This is about being realistic. You can be compassionate and kind and generous from a position of strength. In fact, those virtues only truly matter when you're strong enough that you could choose otherwise. So here's my challenge to you. Stop being a good man in the weak, passive, doormat sense of the phrase. Start being a good man in the strong, capable, dangerous but controlled sense. Build yourself into someone who doesn't need to be liked because you're too busy being respected. Someone who doesn't need external validation because you're aligned with your own mission. Someone who doesn't fear conflict because you've made yourself capable of handling it. Genghis Khan started with nothing, less than nothing. He was abandoned, enslaved, hunted, but he refused to accept that as his destiny. He built himself into the most powerful man on earth through discipline, strategic thinking, and an unwillingness to settle for less than he deserved. You have more advantages than he ever did. You have education, technology, safety, opportunity. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to become the type of person who can claim it. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep being the nice guy who finishes last, wondering why the world doesn't reward your virtue? Or are you going to wake up, build some real strength, and start living like a man who understands how reality actually works? The choice is yours. But choose quickly, because time is the one resource even Genghis Khan couldn't conquer, and you're wasting yours right now. If this hit you differently than the usual surface level content, smash that like button and subscribe. We're rebuilding something here for men who are ready to face uncomfortable truths and do the hard work of becoming who they were capable of being. I'll see you in the next one.